flex.
It is a little bit of a flex.
I want to do like an audio check to know when I'm like talking too loud or not.
You
Like
can
how does
see-
this sound? Is this too loud? Too loud?
Do you see your audio output on the side?
The right side, yeah.
Yeah,
It's at
Your-
max, so I'm gonna put where's your at?
mine's as long as I'm not hitting in the yellow when I'm speaking.
Hello,
Yeah.
hello. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm lowering this.
I also I try to keep
Hello.
my mic like maybe like 6 inches from my face, because if it's way up here, it's way
that's
too
good.
loud.
Okay, I'm learning.
Yeah. No, it's a posture. It's just
I do want to flex it a bit, so there's gonna be like a
Do
couple
it.
times in the
Do
pod
it.
where like, well,
Well, I have a microphone now, so I'm a professional
listen
podcaster.
up, Joe. Speaking to the mic, bitch. Okay. Ha, Hitler, bitch. I love the once in a while Jesse Pinkman quotes are always great.
Jesse Pinkman. Oh yeah.
That's
I
on
saw
my
I saw
radar
it.
yeah. Hold on,
Wait,
let me pull up my doc
on your radar for
for intros. Sorry, I was getting to it.
yes. You've seen all of Breaking Bad, right?
Multiple times.
He says, "Oh, please."
Are you kidding me? That's a stupid question.
Yeah, you're right. Silly. So, what am I thinking?
I actually still need to see the second half of the last season of Better Call Saul. So they took a break, right?
Dude,
The second half, I have not.
it's wild.
It's such a crazy ending. Okay, or they left it on such a crazy cliffhanger.
It's wild. It's so good. So good. I'm not gonna say Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad. It's not, but
It's really good.
it's
Vince Gilligan's a
incredible.
dog.
He's great. I wish he would make more stuff, more spin-offs. Give me a Jesse Pinkman spin-off.
Did he direct that movie on Netflix? Gilligan?
That's a good question. I feel like he didn't. I feel like it looks like it's in a different style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, how are you?
I'm doing good. I was just about to ask the same question. Week's going well. Been a busy past few days. My birthday was Monday, so
dude, what?
Yeah, my parent or my mom, my dad, he had some work to do
Bro, happy birthday!
Thank you. Yeah.
I feel like a bad friend right now.
No,
clue.
I keep it low key. My birthday.
Oh, dude.
So,
well,
and I'm like not big. Thank you. So, my mom invited herself down to celebrate here. So like, okay, sounds good. So come with your birthday. It's all right.
Okay.
Low key, we went. It was Monday, so we went out to like a restaurant after work. She surprised me at work and like brought cupcakes, which was pretty cool. I told her not to. She didn't anyways, but
your mom's not going to listen to that. It's her son's birthday.
Yeah. Right. It was good though. It was a good touch. I mean, it's low key. Yeah, I got a skim board she gave me.
A skim board?
Skim. I think SKIM. You ever heard of that?
No. What is that?
It's like basically, I used to be really into it when we would go to like spring breaks in elementary school. And I mentioned it once and she remembered that she got her birthday. It was basically like you throw the board. You might see people do it on the shore.
Okay.
And then you glide for like 15, 20 feet. It's a small board.
Okay. That's dope.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I can picture it.
Okay.
That's sick.
So this tiny little board and yeah. So that was a fun gift. I got like a couple pairs of shirts, and, clothes that we'll see if I wear. But
you weren't a big fan.
All right, I mean they're all right.
It can be hit or miss.
It was a low key birthday, yeah.
Sure. Nice.
So that was that was kept me busy for a couple of days.
You're like 94 now, right?
25.
25.
Dude, my HR colleagues roasted me. Like, I think she like does a joke so we have like a little Teams chat.
Okay.
and I had a couple people wish me happy birthday.
Nice.
And then she sends like a Google image or like a clip art, like a 2-year-old blowing out candles. Like, happy birthday, Ethan. I'm like, man, what the? I just said thank you. Like, man, what are you doing? Why you
Baby
gotta do me
ass
like,
boy.
why you gotta do me like that? Because everyone else is like a lot older than me. Like,
Oh my
dang,
gosh.
bro. you
That's
did me
fair
dirty.
though. Dude,
Yeah, I had enough.
when you're the youngest guy on staff, you get reminded of that every single day.
Right.
I don't know if that's what it's like for you, but
Oh yeah.
I swear every corner I turn, people are like, "Oh, you're so young. You're so young." It's like I didn't know. I didn't know that. It's crazy. Keep telling me, please.
Yeah, she did me kind of dirty there, but I was like, all right, it was good. Like you could just leave out the Google image.
You gotta hit
It
him
was
with
funny.
an,
Good
you
touch.
gotta hit him with an old comment back. You gotta be like, did you qualify for the senior discount at Arby's today? Something like that. You gotta buy one, get one. That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
nice.
was your week?
It's been good. It's been work has just been a lot. It's been
Really?
yeah. We are intaking so much food. Just it's great, but it's an unreasonable amount of food. And I'm awaiting. We're hiring somebody new tomorrow. So I'll get a little bit of the load off my shoulders. Can have
Oh, that's right. We talked about this, the idea of doing that. I forgot to like kind of circle back on that as far as like, I think I saw an Instagram story or something. You were promoting the job.
yeah.
Do you like
yeah,
the candidate?
I do.
Okay.
I actually got to participate in the interview process, which was really good for experience. And she interviewed great. Resume was rock solid. Really everything that we're looking for, and it was honestly like a miracle because we didn't have a lot of time. Like if I were to still keep going without any staff members besides myself, it would be pain. It would suck.
You were telling me that the last time we chatted about this, you're saying the timeline was like you're about to like hopefully have that conversation where like it was in the air, right? So I'm glad I saw the Instagram post. I forgot to talk about it. That's great that you're able to get some more support staff.
Appreciate that. Yep. Yeah.
How's the volume, by the way? Is it too loud or too quiet? Is it
No,
good?
you're perfect.
Okay.
Mine's pretty good.
Yeah. Just wanted to double check.
Good stuff. Yeah, but other than that, yesterday got to hoop down in South Haven. We go over to Gabe's brother's house. He's got a little concrete poured court in his backyard. I just got
Matthias.
Yeah, Matthias.
Yeah.
He's in our league, by the way.
I met him once, maybe twice. He came to. We had like a playoffs for intramural IM basketball. This is so I feel like against the rules illegal. Quick fun story.
Okay.
He played. I guess they let him play in the playoffs. So we were like a low seed. We were not that good. We had to go back-to-back games.
Okay.
I feel like maybe you were on the team. Maybe you were one of those people out there.
I don't remember Matthias really, but
okay. But anyway, so we play the first game. I go too hard, and I'm like the second game. I get to get subbed out. Just go straight to the DeVos toilet and just yak. I was just overworked. Like we were blowing the first team out their first game. We blew them out. They stunk. And I was just having a lot of fun. I was going full court sprint.
Nice.
Overdid it. I should have rested the legs or something.
Yeah, take some breaks, get some subs.
Matthias is good. Like he's like a scrappy hustler.
Oh, dude, I don't know how many times I've gotten his shoulder laid into my chest. Dude's just like a train downhill, and it's funny. I always make fun of him just for the way he'll drain buckets, but he always follows his shot immediately because he's getting those boards. Dude's like
a hustler right there.
He's a hustler. He's getting those offensive rebounds all the time. It's really annoying when you're not on his team, but when you're playing with him, you're like, all right, that's great. I can just stand around the perimeter and you can go collect.
You love those teammates.
Oh, it's the best. But yesterday, I was drilling from the wings. That's like my sweet spot shooting from three.
Okay.
Don't know. You're just feeling it some days. Can't really explain.
I can't relate. Yeah, I'm more of a ground pound in the paint physical play style.
I was never really into basketball until college, and
You got a great shot, I'll say it. And
thank you.
I
Appreciate
admire it. I wish it's never too late.
No,
I got to
never.
work on my form though.
I'm happy to give you some tips.
I used to
Always.
have like a decent shot, and I would shoot it from my chest, and then like from sophomore to junior year, when I go on the varsity, like trying to do everything the coach was saying. The coach like told me, he's pulled me aside like, this summer I want you to like, because I'd go like this. It was a decent shot, but like he had a good point. I was like shooting it from the chest.
Oh,
He's
you're
like,
lefty.
yeah. So he was like, I want you to raise it up, so the defender. It makes complete sense. So I completely like blanked my mind of like all like my muscle memory.
Right.
It's crazy I did this, and all of a sudden like you see I have like a catapult whenever I shoot. So
I've
like now it's like I overemphasize. It's just like a whack.
Well, yeah, you don't want to be Joakim Noah. You don't want to be like chest pass style, but then you also don't want to be Carlos Boozer way back here.
It's got to be fluid. It's got to be very fluid. And I definitely like knowing. I mean, just like practice in general. If I was actually committed, determined, I could probably get a good shot. But like,
I mean, you should observe lefties, southpaws like yourself, like James Harden. Take notes on his shot.
He's got the craziest bag, James Harden.
He is true. He's kind of fallen off, but he's still yeah. He will forever be remembered. Like to me, James Harden on the Rockets was crazy. That was peak James Harden.
Right. Don't like the guy off the court. I'm not. He's kind of a diva, but on the court, just the best like one-on-one player.
Definitely not. No, dude.
So y'all hooped. Everything else is going good though. It seems like work. You're getting some of your bandwidth. That's a word I learned at work that people say a lot. Like
at work,
I think their bandwidth is pretty tight right now. Or like, okay, so like, I never even said that word in my life, but I'm just throwing that word now.
Full disclosure, been experiencing a little bit of burnout at work.
Right.
Just absorbing a lot of information, working really hard, lifting a lot of stuff, really not taking a lot of breaks. Full honesty, vulnerability too. I decided to utilize my EAP benefits and go back to talk therapy, which is really good. I had my first session back today in a few months, actually. So
EAP, that's like a psychiatrist or something?
Yeah, so it's really EAP just stands for Employee Assistance Program, which is basically an insurance package that you get through your benefits if you're full time. So we're partners with a mental health facility, and you get 5 free sessions for every episode. So
that's in Holland.
Yes, they're based in Holland. Yeah,
nice.
Great place. Highly recommend talk therapy if you've never done it.
You just like talk through kind of what's going on, and then
it's good to get like an outsider's perspective, unbiased. I always want somebody to be able to give it to me straight, and I want more of those spaces where I can be emotionally vulnerable without exploding,
being judged or whatever.
Or that, yeah, exactly. Or like being looked at like this is not the time or place, So
yeah.
That's been good and encouraging just to have that set in place going forward. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And been grinding away. When I started doing my rankings almost like the day after we finished our last pod, and I was like, this is going to be so much fun.
I'll tell you, Joe, this is by far the most I've prepared for a pod. So it was fun, and I've got information in my own like little details on each player. I mean, like the last 4, I just kept it brief, but I've been working the past 2-3 days on it, so I didn't start right away. But I've been
I've had to go back and revise and figure.
And I'll say the other thing, I moved around a lot of my ratings initially. My first tier was always consistent, and then when I did Actually, I'll just save it for when we get to it. But
Sure.
with that being said, I want to jump in.
Let's do it. I got a little intro.
Okay.
just to kick things off. I'm experimenting with things. So I'll count us down here because we're already recording.
Right.
3, 2, 1. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Deep Sleepers Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Joey Vitaco. I got a belly full of Chick-fil-A, and I ain't afraid to show it. Just kidding. I'm excited for the show today. Joined by my good buddy, Ethan Larson. What is going on, Ethan?
Welcome. That was pretty nice. Nice intro.
Trying things out. I do have a belly full of Chick-fil-A, by the way.
I got a belly full of some microwave noodles, so it's pretty solid.
Nice. Like ramen or?
No, like those boxes that you get the freezers of a Meyer.
Like a Stouffer's, kind of?
Probably.
Something like that?
No, I don't think so. But anyways,
okay.
A couple minute meals that just you make it, you throw in the microwave, you poke a little needle or a sliver into it, and then just good for dinner there.
Nice.
Yeah.
We love that.
So I'm feeling good though. We're both obviously happy to be a highly anticipated episode. Everyone's in for a treat. I'll say everyone's in for a treat.
Dude, I feel a little bit behind. People who listen to fantasy football podcasts might be looking around in media and being like, oh, these guys are just copycatting everybody else. Because today we're doing our wide receiver rankings for PPR, doing a top 20. And I've seen a couple other people drop rankings episodes this week. And I'm like, all right, we'll be followers of the trend, I guess. But it's whatever. We're pumped.
Right.
This is the best. I love doing rankings. I even jumped ahead and started doing my running backs ones. But with that said, just a little bit of news this week that I think we could preview the episode with. Just some highly anticipated signings.
That's right.
In the AFC East in particular. First and foremost, Dalvin Cook signing an $8.6 million 1-year deal with the Jets. That obviously is going to affect Breece Hall and his draft value. And then also Ezekiel Elliott signing that $6 million 1-year deal with the Patriots. Probably going to affect Ramondre. I know we talked a little bit about it in our group chat, but does this change a lot for you?
Absolutely does. I've heard mixed opinions. Some people say, it hurts Breece more than Ramondre. I'm grouping both these together.
I would agree with that statement.
My insight on this is both these guys are going second round, early, middle. Sometimes you can get late and get them, right?
Breece has fallen to early third a little bit.
I could see
but
that.
Ramondre seems a little bit more unaffected from what I've seen.
Yeah. So, my take on it, and I'm kind of playing this out. I'm doing mocks. I recently found out my slot in one of my leagues. I'm in two leagues. One of my leagues. I'm in the 102 and the 12 man. So I've probably done 65 mocks in the past 2 days at the 102.
That must be
only the 102. Just practice.
Is that a relief? Finally, no.
Oh, it is. It is good. It is good. So
I'm chomping at the here.
There's a strategy that where I want to get a running back in that second round or that second, third round turn.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Ramondre is constantly popping up as the best player available, taking right in. I'm not touching him honestly, because I like a bell cow running back, regardless of PPR upside. If whatever Zeke might get that goal line touch. Right. I'd like a Najee Harris. I'd like someone like that, a Tony Pollard, these consistent bell cows that are in that position. So
I was just about to say, if you're at the 102, just with familiarity with what happens at the turn, if I'm you, I'm probably hoping that Tony Pollard is there. That's the guy that I'd be targeting in the second round. if I'm at
Absolutely, yeah.
the early turn, because I mean, unless you're doing a wide receiver stack, that would be the other route, and then maybe wait for a running back in the third, get somebody like Jahmyr Gibbs, something like that. Who
My
knows?
strat's been is I go obviously wide receiver first round, then I was telling a buddy in our league this individually, just like I saw this person, don't really give credit to, but I love this strat for the
Mhm.
101 or 102. Just go obviously get your wide receiver, and then this year we see a huge influx, a high influx of wide receivers going off the board early and running backs who may have
Right.
been first round picks like Najee or Tony Pollard, that
Mhm.
Zeke role, who normally be first round picks are kind of shifted back. You can get them late on discount. So I go receiver and then bell cow, 2-3. Got my running backs.
Interesting.
And then, so that's most cases. In specific situations, I must get one running back in that 2-3. But like
Yeah.
if a Chris Olave's fallen to me, if a Waddle's fallen to me at 102 spot in the second round, it's tempting. But yeah,
like
I've done so many mocks, and that's kind of what it's been playing
Same.
out lately.
all I do is mock. When I bring I'm bringing my laptop to lunch at work, and people are probably like, "Why is Joey avoiding me all the time?" I'm just doing mock drafts, bro. Just eating
Right.
one, I'm just grinding.
So that's exciting news. Yeah, that is definitely a relief. And knowing the order early, and I'm glad at least in one of my two leagues I have that. The flip side, in our league, our main league, the Fire Up Dutch,
We have no clue.
and I like that also because it kind of rewards people who prep more, like me
Absolutely.
and yourself.
I was thinking about that more often because when we did our draftception episode and we drafted the top spots, even if we land at our worst spots, we can exploit the mistakes of other people who do not do enough mock drafts. And I feel as I'm doing mock drafts and I'm allowing myself to like make mistakes too, and I'm looking back and I'm seeing who I drafted, and I'm like, I really don't like the way that worked out.
Right.
Making notes about that. I love what a lot of other podcasters say is like, some of the guys that you shared with me, I forgot, it's like Draft Central or something.
I love those guys. I mean,
They say like let the other people in your league step on the landmine, something like that, like the do not draft lists. And honestly, like we're gonna do our rankings here, but for the sake of listeners, I'm gonna try and avoid even speaking into existence my do not draft list, because as I've been doing my Yahoo rankings, like I've got guys on my do not drafts and they're staying there. And it's not because they're bad players. And I will talk a little bit about that today when we do our rankings, just like my rank versus average ADP. It's a really fun statistic to analyze, but there are some guys that pop up that I like highlight in red to show like ADP is so high, but where I have them ranked is a lot lower, just based on value.
Before we jump in, before we change gears, good icebreaker, Joe. I'll open it up, and then if you had certain thoughts on it.
Yeah, dude.
I was thinking somehow I got a song stuck in my head at work. I was like, that's a good icebreaker. Favorite? Do you have any TV? I guess mainly TV because you see episodes over and over again.
Yep.
TV theme songs, movie theme songs. I think the biggest one for movie would be Star Wars. I'll go first. Mine is like Breaking Bad is a really good jingle. It's like there's no lyrics.
It's quick.
It just hypes you up like dun 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 dun.
Accurate.
Like, it
you nailed it.
Yeah. How I Met Your Mother's a show. I love that theme song.
Yeah, that's catchy. It's true. I do like that one.
Yeah, that's a classic. It's quick.
Really good.
And you can sing along with. Obviously, The Office is goated.
Yeah.
Mandalorian has grown on me recently, and like I'll listen to that. Just like remember last year when I was at Purdue, I would like listen to that whole soundtrack for like studying vibes, but like do 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 do.
That's actually pretty good. That's
Yeah,
spot
yeah,
on.
that's like a little like jungle vibe. But those are like some of the ones that came off my head. So, do you got any
Oh yeah,
favorite TV show theme songs? Movie theme
definitely.
songs?
The first thing that comes to mind is Game of Thrones. That's like a no doubter right
Oh.
there. He's beating himself up. He's like,
That didn't even come like mine, bro. I was like, that's what she said, but
I,
that didn't even cross my mind.
yeah, that one's elite.
That is elite.
might be the best theme song for a TV show.
Yeah.
But right now I've been watching a lot of The Walking Dead, and that opening theme song like gives me chills every time. Like it's so eerie. I couldn't really, but
Yeah.
I just like every time it gets me in the zone, and there's like a mini.
Grab a pillow. You're like ready to go.
I'm digging that show. It's kind of predictable, but it's a good binge. I like it. Yeah, good icebreaker. I'm a fan of that. I just wanted to make an announcement on the pod because next week we're going to be doing our rhythm a little bit differently since our league is drafting. Ethan and I's league, Fire Up Dutch. We are going to do our first live stream. We're going to be doing that on YouTube. We are going to be recording probably a little bit before 8 o'clock, but the actual draft itself is 8 o'clock Eastern time. If you're interested, I will put that link to the live in my info for the Deep Sleepers account. Feel free to follow us along, comment your opinions on who's drafting, like that. I'll be recording this too, and then we'll launch that as an episode the following week. But we are stoked for that, and part of the reason why I'm really glad that a couple of those running backs finally signed with teams makes me feel a little bit more relieved going into the draft. Still waiting on a few like Josh Jacobs, but for the most part, feeling extremely excited.
Mm-hmm. Yes, tune in. You'll definitely see all natural motions. Like regardless of how that pans out, I'll most likely be insatisfied. But for some reason, if I make a mistake, the audience will get the full reaction.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna try and keep my composure like as much as I can, because like if you and I are gonna be on camera looking at each other, who knows where we're gonna be drafting. But like I know that like when that draft window launches and I know my position, I'm just gonna be going straight into my notes and I'm gonna be locked in.
Got it.
I'll probably not even be saying a whole lot, but I'll share my screen and stuff like that. I might even have the boys over at the time, so I'll probably be a little bit detached. But I'll come back and provide some commentary in between picks, stuff like that. That'll be fun. Never live streamed before, but it'll be a good experiment.
Right.
A couple other little things we could. You want to talk about these things, Ethan, or you want to dive in? I'm almost getting antsy here. Just these right here.
I just noticed these. Yeah.
We don't have to.
I'm thinking. I like these. I'll dive right in. Biggest regrets you have from previous fantasy seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Last year was just a nightmare for me. I had like my first 3 rounds were just like the most awful picks you could have made.
Right.
That's like the only regrets I had. I had Swift. No, I went Najee Harris, DeAndre Swift, who was never healthy, and then Kyle Pitts. And then the rest of my draft was fine, but those were my biggest regrets. Is that what you mean? Like as far as like drafting regrets? Yeah.
It could be
those,
anything. I think my biggest regret from last season that will forever haunt me is Tony Pollard to the waivers in the middle of the season, because I had him on my bench early on, just
he blew up.
Late round draft pick, and I lost faith like right before he boomed. So
All right.
that one kind of hurts.
That would sting.
Yeah,
That probably have turned around your scenario, right?
it really did. Yeah, because eventually
Um,
I traded for Derrick Henry, and I had to give up Amon Ra, which was also a regrettable decision.
I never had really any regrettable drops. Just my whole draft was basically regrettable. I'll say I just like rolled up my sleeves, blue collared it, just pinned and pinned people against the wall and made them trade me their players. That's how my season went last year.
Pin
Like,
people
give me this
against the
guy. I'll
wall.
give you this guy. Give me
I
this guy.
swear.
Calling people during the workday like 3 times a day. Like I pick them up on the waivers and trade them to me. That's fine.
That's despicable.
You're first in the order. You don't even use the waivers. Give them to me.
Oh, was that like around Kenneth Walker?
It was Ken Walker. Yeah, I was like first in the waiver order. This guy, I was like, just totally, yeah, snake oil salesman. I loved it. I loved
You
it.
did end up getting Kenneth Walker on your team. I remember that.
Yeah,
That was,
but
that was a pretty big moment in the season.
I needed it. Oh, it was a big turn. And then I just Gorzima. I know he's a huge Lions fan. So I really played to that. That's my advantage. I gave him Swift, Amari Cooper for CeeDee Lamb, and Josh Jacobs. So Josh Jacobs was like the 3rd overall running back at the time. I think I gave him one more. I gave him Miles Sanders also.
Oh, wow.
2 stud running backs, but like for like 2.
That was a big trade.
Like,
I forgot
must
about
start
that.
players. Yeah.
I'm starting to remember. That was big. That was big in the season.
I traded Dom. Also, I traded Gabe. I had to do what I could.
Yeah, because you worked your way up to like being contention, didn't you? Something like that. Or were we just fighting out of the last place
There was one. No, I almost made playoffs. I missed it. Josh Randall beat me. It freaking sucked.
Because remind me, didn't
that's what his kicker scored. He had the Dallas kicker. I was so sorry. He scored like 21 points. So that's another future debate topic because I heard some people on both sides of the argument, like the idea of having a kicker in your league and playing with kickers, because there's basically coin flips, right? Someone who's more, I've noticed, more knowledge, more experience, they maybe would be the people who would like kind of be against the idea of kicker. I like it; just creates some parity, right?
I agree. It's kind of a wild card on your team. I'll actually bring up this question from our buddy Robbie, kind of a throwback to the mailbag. But he asked a long time ago, like, when is it good to draft a defense in your draft? As I'm doing like more of the full drafts as opposed to the ones on Sleeper where I'm like excluding kicker and defense intentionally, I'm taking defense and kicker with like my last 2 to 3 picks.
Right.
I'm at the point now where I'm thinking back to years past and I would draft a defense like San Francisco's because, you know, they're supposed to be the number 1 defense. Such a waste of a draft pick.
Right.
Because at that time, like I'm noticing in Yahoo drafts a lot, people are taking San Francisco, Philadelphia, those defenses in like the 10th round, which is so early. There are 16 rounds for reference. And you can get players like Brandon Cooks in the 10th round or Khalil Herbert. Those are super valuable spots to deepen your bench. And you're not really going to get – those are where you get your sleepers. Those are like league-winning spots.
Deep sleepers, yeah.
Deep sleepers, absolutely. Yeah. But
I agree with you, Joe. No, definitely. Even last year, I took – I feel like my defense and kicker back to back in like the 12th and 13th, and then I took like random players 14th, 15th. It's like by week 4, neither my kicker or my defense was on my team, and you get to a point. Defense, I can see if you have like the Niners, Dallas, and Eagles, maybe then you it's must start. Right. Like it's all matchup based with those possessions. It's all matchup based. If you have the best kicker, but they're playing, let's say week 15, 14 in Lambeau Field.
Right.
You're going to go like you don't want like all matchup, all scenario based.
Right. And I think right now too, like I think it's easier to make a misprojection on a defense as a whole because when you're making a projection on a single player, it's only them. It's only dependent on that person to perform at that expectation, if that makes sense. Whereas like a defense, you can project the Niners to be the number one defense. But what
Mhm.
if Nick Bosa and Fred Warner both get hurt in the first few weeks? That defense going to suck. Like you're not going to be getting sacks. You're not going to be getting forced fumbles very often. Um, and last year, like nobody really thought that the Eagles' defense was going to be great. I picked them up off the waivers, and they were top 3. And then like
Right.
the Patriots ended up being the number 1 defense in the league. Nobody was drafting them.
Mhm.
So I would even go as far as to say like just save your last 2 picks for your kicker and your defense. Don't feel tempted to just follow the trend because someone's going to do it in your draft, and those are the people that are stepping on landmines.
Right.
In my opinion, they're
I might do. You see that defense sitting there. It's really tempting. Like, dude,
It is.
Eagles are right there,
and
13th.
you're like I need to fill up my lineup. It's
Like
no,
just imagine that.
you
Yeah,
don't.
like,
You really don't.
mhm.
Yeah, it's fine.
Right.
Yeah. The other thing, just can briefly hash it out. I don't know how far we can go, but like this is currently a stalemate in our league. Having some trouble deciding.
Oh my
Um,
goodness, I see it.
it's getting kind of annoying, if I'm being honest. Like
We both agree. We
talking
both
about
have the
fantasy
same.
punishments.
Yeah, we both have the same side of this debate, and I think it's both. I was going to have this conversation with you or text you as an idea, as far as at least in our own personal situation, get this settled in our league. Like, do we do a vote? If, like a choose yes or no vote, and then like, I mean, other leagues are probably different.
Maybe.
We should get buy-in in our league, or like not buy-in. But I'm saying like if we put a vote, and let's say the punishment wins the vote, then that just is added pressure from everyone else. Like, oh, we voted on this league rule, right?
Yeah.
That's my thought of the solution is because like I know like the last thing we got to get this firmly set also before the draft because people
I
feel
agree.
like yeah.
I
So
think
that'll be something on my mind. I think I'll do soon.
it might not be a bad idea. I like your thought of like maybe just starting with a poll that just says yes or no. And if we get a yes, then it's settled, and maybe that just buys us some more time to decide in the middle of the season. Because I'm all for public humiliation punishment. Like I'm prepared to do that, and I'm an extrovert, so
Right.
it's a little easier for me to say, like because I'll probably have fun with it. But there was one that I saw on Instagram that I just think is so funny, where you you take a giant stuffed animal out to like a nice restaurant and you buy them.
That's
you
good.
buy-
Yeah.
That was
Like,
hilarious. That's so funny, and like you're not like doing anything harmful, not doing anything offensive, but like you're gonna be getting filmed. Obviously, we need to have this on tape.
oh yeah.
We'll post it somewhere, but like
There's
I
a lot of good
understand
ones.
there are
My
some.
league, one of my leagues, the guy went out. They all went out with the buddies, like a bar night, and he wore like a pink dress. But last thing I'll just say in our league, and this is another thing. Like, what if anyone else who's watching this or listening to this, they're in a predicament similar to that, we're trying to get buy-in for a punishment that maybe other people are reluctant to do. Agree in the league, like let tailor a punishment to the player. Like let's say, okay, we'll all agree on a punishment, and then let's say at the end of the season, the toilet bowl person there, we'll all agree like, okay, you don't want to do that one, let's think of another one, right? Because every person's different. I mean,
That's true.
As far as some context on us, right?
That's a
At
really
least
good point.
that reinforces like
You're right.
you don't know what the punishment is at the time. If you don't want, if this is only in context of trying to kind of get some league buy-in, but
Sure.
that's an idea I had, and I haven't even proposed that. But anyways,
think-
back into generalities. But
I
yeah,
actually
what you said.
I think that's a really good idea, just to not even decide on what the punishment is going to be, and just then wait for there to be a loser in your league, and then pick a punishment.
And then just talk
that's
about it,
suitable.
yeah, and then have them have to agree on it, and also
Right.
the whole league will be like, yeah, that's fair enough.
Exactly.
So that was yeah. But anyways, other league punishments. Just circling back to the topic itself.
Yeah.
I'll quickly be brief. I thought a funny one would be is like go to like Planet Fitness business professional, a suit and tie, and I was like, one time is like that's too generous. Like you can just do that and get out, but never,
Right.
like a whole like seven times. That like that's fair. I would do that.
I would do it. Yeah, it would be hilarious.
Work
Another
up a
idea
sweat.
I had, I think I launched it in the chat a while ago, was like print out 100 copies of like a fake newspaper headline that says like your name, insert your name, sucks at fantasy football, and then deliver that newspaper to like an entire subdivision somewhere.
Yeah, like
and
that.
dress up as a mailman. I think that'd be hilarious.
I actually like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like, if you look like you're playing the part, no one's going to question it, but then they're going to wake up. You're not even going to get to see their reaction. So I don't even think that one's that bad.
That's true.
We'll
have to settle that in our league though. But
there are some others that are like more gross related. Like I've seen guys in their leagues put the loser in like a dog cage, and then they're dumping a bunch of crap on him.
I saw that.
It's so gross.
He's like wearing like the swimmer hat. He's got
the goggles.
Like,
yeah.
So
they're putting they're like pasta sauce, canned soup.
Missed me with that. I'd be like, I ain't getting in that, bro. No way. Like I ain't doing that.
That'd be disgusting.
You ain't pouring Cheerios on me with milk. Bro. No way. I ain't. That's gross. I guess that punishment is like a misery for like 15 minutes, right? It's the door,
right.
and then like one idea we had last year. I thought it was a fun idea. Is like, and this is like while our season's boiling down, we're deciding the toilet bowl. I was in the toilet bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna be like, I'll do this. We were trying to punishment is like
I remember
a lemonade stand, and I'd have to raise like $50.
Yeah.
And then once I raise, that's like I stink at fantasy football.
Right.
And then once I raise that, whatever, or $100, whatever, then I can be done. Maybe there was a catch. I think it was just that.
You gotta give it. You gotta give it to the league winner or something like
that.
Yeah,
or like donate it or something.
Yeah,
but
that's totally fair.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a solid baseline punishment, I feel like.
Right.
Yeah, one that people should be able to get behind. I don't know. Well, I hope we do decide one day, but we've got a whole season of fantasy football ahead of us. I'm not even thinking about losing the league. This whole thing.
Right. And as far as like
my leagues.
We mentioned it. I mentioned once in our chat trying to build a rapport on the idea, and it makes complete sense. The last thing I'll say is just as far as the topic goes, punishments are really good for the leagues in the sense of someone who's been already eliminated. They still have some skin in the game. They still have a reason to suit up every week. It's not like, oh, I'm already out anyways. I'm not going to set my lineup. No, it's like, dude, I'm going to keep going. I ain't going to have to do this punishment. So I'm going to keep. And it builds suspense for the playoffs and the losers bracket.
Agreed.
Like I was tweaking last. I remember I was in the total last week, and then that didn't matter. But like Mike Evans popped off like 48 points. That was pretty hyped. That was a good feeling.
Yep.
A little too late in the season to do that, but
hey, it saved your butt though.
Yeah.
Alrighty, I've got mine open, right?
I'm ready to go. Yeah.
I'm itching. All right.
I'm itching as well.
Welcome to the wide receiver rankings 2023. We're doing a top 20. Ethan and I each have 6 tiers. Ethan and I do not know what our rankings are. We don't even know what our tiers are. So we're just going to be going in blind. We'll go tier by tier. Go ahead, E. You look like
real quick. So just to be clear on this, I say what we do is we start out by saying how many players we have in that tier because I don't have a consistent yet.
No, me neither.
And then what do you want to do? I want to do one person like me and then list off my tier and then switch to use. Okay,
sure.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right.
So tier 1.
Or wait, are we doing tier? I kind of want to go bottom up. Or do you want to go?
Oh, okay. The bottom up sounds good.
Or do you want to go top down?
Bottom up sounds good. Let's do it.
Okay. Cool.
Tier 6.
Tier 6.
On the ranking of 20.
How many people
players.
do you have in tier 6?
I have 4.
You have 4. Okay.
And
I only have one. I only have one person
Okay.
in tier 6. And that's my 20th ranked person. So I'm going to let you first. Because I want to see if my player falls in.
So I'll say initially I had like two people, and I added to this because I had like 9. I had like the bulk of my rankings in that 2-3 spot. I'm like, I gotta move some people down. So I moved people down to the 5th tier, then moved people from the 5th tier down to the 6th tier. So I have 4.
Okay.
The first guy I'll say I left off the list. The one guy I had to make a decision on.
Oh, I had a few.
He's the 21th ranked spot. This is the guy I spent the most time. Everyone else is like a pretty easy decision. It was Drake London. Drake London was a guy, my 21st ranked guy.
That's actually hilarious. He's also my 21.
Okay. All right.
I actually had him at 20 and then moved him out of it like yesterday. Yeah, keep going.
Okay. So 20th ranked, DK Metcalf. And I'm playing a little shocker. My tier 6 is a shakeup. You'll see where I'm going after my tier 6. So DK, I am bearish on DK. I know he's young.
20.
I know he's coming off like a solid year that wouldn't reflect the rank of a 20 wide receiver. I'm bearish on him. I'm kind of dodging him in the sense of JSN's coming in there. And I had a debate with my buddy, Jack Hermler, on this. That target share is going to be shaken up. With him and Lockett, I'm dodging those guys at their ADP. Initially I was drafting JSN a lot. I like guys like maybe Jordan Addison. I could see him fill that Adam Thielen role from a couple years back. But certainly back to DK, yeah, I think it's nothing a credit to what he did last year, or maybe what as far as injury risk, none of that. I just think it's a crowded room. You add Zach Charbonnet to as a receiving back, you got
definitely
too many bellies to fill with only one football. So
right, and DK right now is going in the round. His highest rank is on ESPN at wide receiver 12, and then on Sleeper and Yahoo, he's being drafted at wide receiver 15. So you got to pay a 3rd round selection to get DK Metcalf if you want him. And
right.
I would agree with you, Ethan, that I think he's a little too expensive being drafted. I'm not going to say where I have not there, but he's not far away from your ranking at 20.
Okay. Shifting gears to number 19, Keenan Allen. And this is mainly centered around his injury history, age, and you add Quentin Johnson. Similar situation, right? You didn't have Mike Williams healthy. You didn't have this new receiver coming in the back. Very similar, actually, situation to DK.
Right.
I will say, given the nods to Keenan, is he's got great chemistry with Herbert when he's on the field. They have like a crazy statistic whenever they're playing together. He's like 17 or 18 fantasy points per game. But that's just, I don't see that happening next year. 18, Deebo Samuel. Very, very low on the sky. And then 17, Amari Cooper. This is a tough one. I almost had him the tier above. There's a guy I like a little more. Amari's a wide receiver 1 on the given day. I just think this was like something that I was like, all right, I'm going to push someone down to tier 6. So Amari's got a little distance on those last 3 guys, but
definitely
I just wanted to fill up that tier 6 a little lower. But initial thoughts, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. You named 3 players that I near. So we're similar, but I'm noticing that our tiers are a little bit different because I only have one person in tier 6, and that is Jerry Jeudy. I have him at my wide receiver 20. He's being average ADP on all platforms as the wide receiver. I have him just a little bit higher than that. His ranking is growing on me a little bit, and I just have a feeling that you have him ranked even higher. But so I have DK Metcalf Actually, I'm not going to say that yet. I have DJ Moore listed as the wide receiver 19.
Okay, let's do like I'll do 2 6, then you do your 6 and a 5. What is that? And then
Yeah,
or
so
what do you?
Jerry
Oh, yeah,
Judy's
go ahead.
my Jerry tier 6, and then in DJ Moore is my last person in tier 5. So he's being
Interesting.
drafted 22nd on Sleeper, 23rd on ESPN, and 24th on Yahoo. I have him at 19. I think that he being drafted in the 5th round makes a really, really great flex depending on how your draft rhythm is going. Right
Mhm.
after that, DK him at 18. Um, like I said, he's averaging the wide receiver 14. I think that's way too expensive. There are a lot better players that you can be getting in the 3rd round. I have Keenan Allen at 17. He's the top of my tier 5. He's being drafted a little bit later, but I think that based on his value, he's being drafted appropriately. He's being drafted as the wide receiver 18 across all platforms right now.
Mhm.
I think that that's very valid. You're probably going to get him in the 4th round if you really want him. But when you're making your own tiers, like if I'm missing players that are in my tier 4, which I'll talk about in a little bit here, then I will take Keenan Allen. But like when there's a
Okay.
tier break between players, that's when I'm so much more decisive. But if there's like players in the same tier, like I have here, Keenan Allen, DK Metcalf, DJ Moore, it'll be a little bit based on rankings. But I might have to play the ADP game a little bit to kind of manipulate the choice of the next person too, because
Mhm.
maybe the next person wants DJ Moore. Maybe the next person is a big Bears fan like me, and they're biased and they want to take him. I don't know. Some strategy. What
I
do
do
you?
want to bring up my thoughts. DJ Moore, obviously, right? Like he had that sexy looking 60-yard
It was
little
nice.
screen pass that he blew up. Talk a little bit about DJ because this is a guy I was quick to leave off my top
So
20.
I left off Debo Samuel.
Okay.
He makes it into a lot of top 20s, but I'm fading him pretty dramatically. I'm pretty sure I have him at wide receiver 23, um, right behind I think Terry McLaurin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think with Brock Purdy at QB, he's going to be spreading the ball out a lot. Christian McCaffrey being there changes things for Debo. I don't think that he should be valued as a dual threat anymore, like he
Right.
was 2 seasons ago without Christian McCaffrey. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I was even tempted to put Brandon Ayuk above him, if I'm being honest with you. I have them in the same tier right now, actually,
Right.
just because I think it will be fairly even between those two. But I actually, based on value, would love to have Ayuk more.
Debo is such a question mark, I'll say. But I think all your points are very fair. Like he was going in the first, second, right? Maybe 3rd round. If I'm not
He's
mistaken.
going to right now. He's going in the
Well,
third.
last year.
Oh, okay.
He was going really high. I remember Eric took him, and Eric had the
Well,
first
yeah.
pick. So it's 2-3 turn probably.
Mm-hmm.
He took Debo, and that is just he had a tough year last year. So
Right. Yeah, it was not good.
um,
So did
yeah,
you was that all your tier 6? All those players?
those 4 players. So I had Amari Cooper 17th, Debo 18th, Keenan Allen 19th, DK 20th.
Interesting. Because so my tier 6 is only number 20, at least based on
Mm-hmm.
this. Then 17 through 19, that's my tier 5. And then 14 through 16 is my tier 4.
Okay, so I have 14 through 16 is my tier 5, 14, 15, 16. 11 through 13. Yeah, it's my tier 4.
Okay. you go through your tier fives, and then I will tell you my tier 4 because those are the same numbers. But I'm interested to hear because like it's almost the same tier because they're the same lump of players, and I'm sure we'll have some overlap. I'll tell you right off the bat that my wide receiver 16 is Amari Cooper. I actually have him a little bit above ADP. You have him a little. Did you say you have a Cooper at 17?
He was my first guy into tier 6. I initially had him at tier 5, but I wanted to fill out that tier 6 a little more.
So this is where I separated the tier because looking at Amari Cooper between Keenan Allen, I just don't think that there's going to be nearly as much competition for Amari Cooper. You made a really good point about Keenan Allen and the competition in the Chargers wide receiver room. But right now you could also get Cooper in the 4th round. He's averaging actually the same rank, almost wide receiver 18. And I have him at 16. So if say I miss out on a player that I really want in the 4th round and Amari Cooper's still there, I actually really like that pick.
I like it. Okay. My tier 5, like I said, 3 players. And I think the way I look at this is my tier 5 and 4. It's almost like 4 and 4.5. I like both the players in these tier a lot. Sure. And then my tier 2 and 3, we'll circle back to. I do 2 and 2.5. So I like. There's a big clump of receivers, like probably 10 receivers, maybe not 10, 8 receivers for these 2 departments that I like a lot. So tier 5, and I only have 3 players. Mm-hmm. Tier 4, I only have 3 players. But
this is 14 through 16 is your tier 5?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll just dive right in. So I have Jalen Waddle at 14, T. Higgins at 15, Jerry Jeudy at 16.
Interesting. Okay, talk to me before you say anything. I have T. Higgins at 15 as well. I want to hear why you have Jalen Waddle at 14. Please walk me through your thought process there.
So I definitely looked in a lot to. I think he's still the wide receiver 2 in that clubhouse, and I also I think like the whole. I feel like Tua. Okay. I have a couple of really high complimented stats or statistics to reinforce. He's great when Tua's on the field, and I could definitely see a scenario play out where this season Waddle has some really great improvement as Tyreek Hill has maybe some regression.
Sure.
But I mean, I'm telling you, there's the reason why I just have guys that I have a higher rank on above Waddle. That's where I kind of talk about like this tier 4 or 5 can be clumped together.
Right. You say 4.5 and 5 or something.
4 and then 4.5. So this would be 4.5.
Okay.
He's making that top. You could definitely make an argument or case to like maybe he's at that back end of the tier 4. But
sure.
Yeah. So I mean, so it's just a couple. I still I love these wide receivers. I'll say like Waddle. This is a hilarious. I was doing some research on this. This guy was saying, in the 6 games without Tua, Jalen Waddle averaged 0.0 touchdowns a game, and then when in the games he played with them, he averaged 0.73, and I was like 0.0. Wouldn't that just be like
almost a touchdown a game?
Oh yeah.
So
I'm saying the joke is like he averaged 0.0. Like in other words, he just didn't score a touchdown. You could just say that.
Exactly.
I thought that was hilarious. But
right.
I'll put a couple of notes I had. I mean, I hope Tua stays healthy. And Tua is my little. Just throwing there. He's currently going as the wide receiver 11. Waddle is. And he's ranked my 14th wide receiver. And he had 11 games averaging over 18 points per game. So I mean, he's he could easily like move up to that last spot in the tier 4.
Yes,
in my eyes.
I think that I like Waddle a lot. I think he's got a safe floor and a relatively high ceiling. I think people say this a lot with wide receiver duos like Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. It's not like a wide receiver 1 and 2. It's more like wide receiver 1A and wide receiver 1B.
Mhm.
But to transition a little bit, speaking of 1As and 1Bs, I really like where you have T. Higgins. I have him in the exact same spot at 15. I think that he's being drafted. I'll see him go above wide receivers like somebody that I'll mention in a little bit in my next tier, where I've got my 10 through 13. But I think he's being drafted just a little too high. He's also not a player that like I'm
Right.
thinking is gonna like win me my league necessarily. But at wide, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say just the last couple notes on these guys. T. Higgins, I have a quick note. I agree, very consistent. He's a safe floor, and I will just say you can see some regression. A full healthy season for Jamar, which we hope to see. But the last guy I'll say is Jerry Jeudy. I have him ranked higher, a lot higher than like the ADP going. He's going a whole tier.
He's going wide receiver 22.
I'm just so high. I'm so high. I love this guy. I think this crazy statistic. And there's a contingency here. The last 6 full games he's played, because 2 games, I guess, he played like the first quarter and was out and hurt. The last full 6 games he's played, he's averaged 9.8 fantasy points per game. 19.8 fantasy points.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, 19.8. That is very, very, very impressive. The last 6 full games, he got injured a couple of those games. I'm very high on Russell Wilson. They're saying great things with him and Sean Payton. And then the last thing I'll say is the last 5 games, he's caught at least 5 or more passes to end the season. So that there's a little consistent floor there as far as a guy who's maybe high one week, low one week. I think he's finishing a high note last season. So like, I love Jeudy. I love Jeudy a lot. I'm higher than most, and yeah.
I will say I think that he is a breakout candidate this year. Like I think that he's
24.
He's so young. It's ridiculous.
He's a first round pick, like in that Alabama core. Say less.
Yeah.
So that's my tier 5.
My last person at number 14, just to balance it out here, is I've got Calvin Ridley right here at 14.
Really?
I do.
The Riddler. I have him a little high.
I had a feeling.
Who was your 14, 15? Remind me your 15, 16 again.
14, 15, 16 for me is Calvin Ridley, T. Higgins, and Amari Cooper.
Okay. Gotcha.
I love Calvin Ridley, he's at the top of my tier 4. He's being drafted just a 18 right now across all platforms. Highest at 17, lowest at 20. There are other players that I would rather have than him, but if he is available in the late 3rd, it's like a no-brainer. I mean, it really depends on where you're drafting, I think, with Amari Cooper. Sorry, not Amari Cooper. Calvin Ridley. I probably have him a little. I'm guessing he's going to make your next tier here.
Be surprised. You'd be surprised.
I'm very interested. I'm interested to see if he's in your 2nd tier.
You'd be surprised.
All right, I'm just gonna let you take over here. Tell me your next tier. Is this your
tier 4?
Tier 4.
Yeah.
Give me your tier 4.
Tier 4 is 11, 12, 13.
Okay.
When I say I'm high on Calvin Ridley, it's an understatement. And we'll circle back on that.
Okay. Okay.
Before the meantime,
bro's got him at
I got 11 Chris Olave.
Okay.
I've got 12 Devontae Smith. 13, the guy I am lowest bearish at his ADP is and you know this, Devontae Adams. I have him very low.
13.
Yes, sir.
That is extremely low.
Yeah, I'll quickly say just my notes.
I think your other 2 rankings are very accurate. Having Olave and Devontae Smith right there because I have
Olave, new court. Go ahead.
Olave at 12 and I have Devontae Smith at 13.
Bro, I'm so bearish. It's a lot of it's just gut instinct. There's like no reason. Like he got a great year last. No, there is reason. Devontae Smith. I'll just talk about it. Is a downgrading quarterback, right? That quarterback doesn't throw the deep ball.
Or you mean Devontae Adams?
Yeah, sorry, Devontae Adams. He got targeted second most in the entire NFL in deep balls last year. Jimmy Garoppolo was first in yards after catch last year. His throws. That means he led the league in screen passes. So he's not going to be throwing those deep balls nearly as much. Devontae Adams, of those, he was second most in deep ball targets. He had 9 touchdowns off of those deep balls. All right. So that's my biggest takeaway is the quarterback switch up. All right. I just don't think you can see people. It's a very likely scenario where this guy. I'm not saying his floor is low. I'm not saying he's a bust. I just think his floor is gonna be lower. I don't see him. I don't like him at all at his ADP. I like guys like Chris Olave, Devontae Smith, a lot of other guys. So Devontae Smith, I mean, we've talked about how high we are on him. He had more targets last year. No, he had more receptions and less targets last year than AJ Brown, which is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a testament to that deep ball throw.
Right.
There's a lot of examples of third-year breakout players. He's entering his third year. And then he hit a slow start, but this is also a crazy statistic. He had at least 8 targets in his last 8 games, all except for the NFC Championship game. So since week 8 and on, he had at least 8 targets.
That's solid.
Yeah. So I mean, he had a slow start, and I agree that he has 0 points or whatever.
It was week 1. He had none.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Chris Olave, last guy. I think I'll just touch on it is. Someone was saying on the Detroit radio show, and I was like, I never looked into this, but apparently that Saints O-line is really good, and that will just give Derek Carr some more time in the pocket. Derek Carr is one of the most consistent deep ball throwers in the NFL, and that's why you see a shift. I'm high on Olave, low on Devontae Adams for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Olave is top 5 in air yards as far as running long distance routes and catching the ball. He's top 5 last year. So he runs long routes often. But yeah, those are 2 guys I'm high on, 1 guy I'm fading. Initial thoughts on my tier 4?
Yeah. So, I will kind of agree with you in the sense I do not have Devontae Adams ranked that low, but
that's the lowest. Yeah.
He's not somebody that I'm targeting based on his price. Thinking about it more reasonably, because you have to spend a 2nd-round pick to get Devontae Adams. Whereas if you want to get Chris Olave or Devontae Smith, you're paying a 3rd-round pick. And I would say with the youth and with the trend, like you're saying, with these 3rd-year wide receivers, trusting youth is going to earn you a little bit more in the end, and just has so much more upside, I think, than Devontae Adams. And I don't disagree with you there. I'll just kind of give you a preview. I have Devontae at wide receiver 7. He's going a little bit above the wide receiver 7 on average, close to the wide receiver 8, or a little bit lower, excuse me. So I think appropriately, but it's tough. I don't know. You're starting to sway me here, just like where you have him ranked. I do. So I have Devontae Smith at 13, then I have Chris Olave at 12, and then I have Garrett Wilson at 11. Mm-hmm. I like Garrett Wilson a lot, and there's a chance that he climbs up my rankings a little bit more into my next tier. Because then I have all of these like 2nd and 3rd year wide receivers lumped into the same tier. It's Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, and Devontae Smith at the 10 through 13. That's my tier.
Okay.
Tier 3.
Tier 4? Tier 3, okay.
Yeah. I think we just have it split a little bit differently. I think you might have you have larger tiers near the bottom, whereas I have larger tiers near the top.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is your tier 4 again? Say it again and the number ranking.
Tier 4?
Yeah. And then to
That's
tier 3.
14 through 16.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah.
And
I
that's
see what you're saying.
Ridley, T. Higgins, Amari Cooper. And then my tier 3 is 10 through 13. That's Jalen
Mhm.
Waddle, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, and Devontae Smith.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just say like similar rankings outside of that. Devontae Smith, and I'm just low on him. Do you want to go at tier 2?
Yeah. Let's take a quick break here, and we'll be right back with basically our top wide receivers here.
Yes, sir.
All right.